Shannon, Ashley. Hey, congratulations on this new documentary. It's coming.
Thank you
Thank
so much,
you.
Gig.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thank
you
you for
know
having
what?
us.
Thank you for carrying this conversation with us with this very interesting documentary. So, Shannon, I'm gonna throw you the first question is what actually sparked you to do this documentary in the first place?
Nothing really did, Gig. I mean, I hadn't had an interest in the paranormal myself at all. I mean, I was going to do something entirely unrelated to what actually eventuated. And I met Ashley randomly. I had put out some casting briefs for sleep paralysis victims. I wanted to look into that a little bit further. Met Ashley and her family, and we kind of went from there. I spoke to the kids early on, and they were describing these horrendous experiences. And I thought, this might be a more interesting story than we've got a cat down here too, than the one that I initially anticipated. So I ran. It went from there, and we just ran with it. And we captured a lot of really interesting things that I had never seen before in my life because I'm not from the paranormal supernatural space or world. I'm a filmmaker, and I was just looking to capture this family's story.
Well said, well said. Ashley, so tell us how Shannon approached you that you are willing to be filmed for this project.
So I initially seen the casting for the sleep paralysis, which I do suffer from. But when I met him, we were originally going with that. And while we were actually filming, these entities kept throwing things around my house, cutting lights on and off. So it's like the story shifted from sleep paralysis to that. And I assured him that when these things were going on, I'm like, oh, it's normal. It happens to me all the time. I see spirits. And it led on from there.
And also, the kid's testimony was just really, really interesting and kind of wild. Meeting Ashley's kid, Javier, for the first time was quite illuminating.
Shannon, how did you conduct these interviews? I understand conducting the interviews with Ashley, but how do you conduct the interviews with these children?
Well, first of all, we made sure that they're in their own comfortable environment. It was all shot at the house with the kids. Ashley and I went to other locations, but even when Javier's outside, that's still on the premises of the building, the apartment building. But Ashley, Mum was always present, making sure everything was cool and that he was fine, and he was. A lot of the times he actually came to me and said, "I want to talk about this. I want to discuss this." Or if there's new events that had been happening in his life at the time, he was quite open to discuss that. And I just made sure that he was comfortable in discussing that, and there was no judgment on my part, and he was free and to be as open as possible, because I know the kids at school wouldn't believe him and his peers wouldn't really, but I kind of did. I believe the family from the get-go. I believe that they were really afflicted by these things, these entities, these spirits, however you want to call them.
Ashley,
But kids are unpredictable, but most of the time they're really easy to.
Yeah.
yeah, I happen to agree with that. I've spoken to many kids. Some of them are very talkative or not talkative at all. So
And we got a bit of that sometimes. Sometimes Javier, like as you see in the film, sometimes he was a little bit sassy, right? He was like, "No, I don't want to. I'm not talking, no." And then that was fine. Like, well, I'm not going to force him. And then the next day he was fine.
Ashley, do a lot of people know about your story, and why do you think this is like a perfect time to tell your story, especially onto film like this?
I have told people, in my close circle, I think people can relate. I think a lot of people just don't talk about it. And I think it was, I think the authenticity of it really made it because, like I said, we were going with sleep paralysis and all these things just kept happening while we were trying to get, my statement on sleep paralysis. So I think at that point I just got aggravated of not really talking about it and trying to just put it to the side. So I'm like, you know what? He wants to know what's going on in my house. I'm gonna let him know what's going on in my house, and that's where it led.
And I saw that from the get go. Like the moment I would enter the house, odd things would happen. Lights would flicker, lights would cut on and off. Things
Yeah.
would cut on and off and on. And Ashley would unplug them from the wall and they would turn back on. Just odd, a combination of odd little things consistently recurring.
Yeah.
Shannon, were you actually surprised that you got some of these moments on camera?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, most of the time I did not see what we were actually capturing at the time. And with the voices, yeah, we heard that. That was immediate. There was only one time when I was recording Ashley's eldest daughter, Selena, in the hallway, and we actually recorded from the very house that the film is, that the documentary set in, which is Ashley's home. But when I was recording Selena, I saw something odd on my viewfinder, like a little shadow go from left to right, moving laterally. And I actually called it out, like, "Did you see that?" Because I saw it on my viewfinder. I did not see it with my naked eye, nor did Selena. But when I looked at the footage playback later on, I indeed did see a little shadow that actually says the full body apparitions of, but on camera it captures like a circular figure moving down the hallway, that where the kids say that they always see these figures. But it's odd because sometimes technology captures things that the human eye that actually doesn't see or pick up on, and vice versa.
So Shannon, this made you a believer?
Believer in definitely the next realm, that it exists, that only some people have the certain gift like Ashley does. They don't want to have anything to do with me. Like Ashley would warn me they might follow you, they have a tendency to do this. Nothing ever happened to me odd in my personal life at all. But from what I've seen from Ashley and the kids, absolutely, 100%.
Ashley, how common is the occurrence at your place with these entities?
It's almost on a daily basis. Sometime it'll go dormant while I won't have any occurrences for a few days, but it's not just my home, it's everywhere I go. I see these entities. It just seems like at this home, I think it's amplified somehow, some way, not sure why, but I see a lot of entities in this house that I've never seen before. But there are certain entities who follow me no matter where I am. It's just always been normal to me. But I think once I realized that my youngest children were seeing and speaking to or hearing the same things I was, that's what made it a little bit more concerning, enough to try to get help, because I'd never gotten help for myself. I just accepted it. I can see the other realm. It's okay with me. Sometimes does come with bad spirits and situations that I'm in, but I'm okay with that, but just not my children.
So Ashley has 5 kids, and only 3 are featured in the documentary because only the 3 have experienced things. The other 2 don't seem to have that talent, that gift, right?
Whatever, yeah, like I would say, yeah.
So Ashley, you admit that you're somehow attuned to the spirit world. So it's not just a haunting of your place. It's just it could possibly be you, and you pass it down to the next generation in this case.
Yes, I believe so. I believe so. There was some black magic done in the apartment years ago, so I think that here it's just amplified times 10 because of that being done. There was probably a door that was not closed correctly, so when I enter, spirits are able to know that I can see them. I get that same look from them every time it's a new one, where they're just as surprised that I can see them, and vice versa.
So regardless of whether you're living in that location, you believe these spirits and entities would just follow you.
Yes, they do.
Like the scene at the hotel, that was not at the house, and we captured a lot of activity that night.
Yeah.
For example, and we did that scene to show that these things follow Ashley. I mean, Ashley's from Albany. She started seeing those things as a child, and had a huge amount of activity back there where she was living upstate. So it's not
I've had
it's
to
not
move.
location
Yeah, I've had to move from a
dependent.
couple apartments because back in that time, we thought maybe it could just be some of these places I was living in. But after having priests and preachers come and try to bless it, and sometimes it actually made it worse, I think I figured out that it was just me. It's just that, I just kind of in a way just accepted it. But when it interacts with guests that come in my house, like when me and him were trying to film about something completely different, they just intervene. So it's like I have no choice but to kind of show what's going on.
I mean, I asked Ashley about it, and she said they just don't like you. They don't want you here.
Yeah.
But things are different now. It's more friendly. There's a different vibe, and I mean, like I just got here today, and nothing odd has happened, for example.
Huh.
But that time when we filmed in 22, there was a lot of craziness.
Yeah.
Shannon, as a filmmaker yourself, witnessing all this, weren't you scared for yourself? Because I understand Ashley grew up with this, but you coming from from our world,
No,
stepping in.
I wasn't scared. I mean, if a 7-year-old boy and a 3-year-old can handle it, I thought I could handle it as well, even if they followed me. They're all good. And Ashley's a trooper. She's managed to dealt with it her whole life. I mean, it's not all positive experiences, right?
No, of course not.
But she can handle it. So I mean, they inspired me. Should anything have occurred, which it didn't anyway. I mean, I didn't, and also I think I believe that they didn't want anything to do with me anyway. Really. What they want with Ashley and the kids? That's the question. I mean, we have a few theories about it.
Ashley, is the sleep paralysis tied into all of this also? Do you believe?
I do believe so. I do believe so. And when I was originally speaking about the sleep paralysis, I wasn't really thinking too much of it until the things started happening, in front of him. And I think that's when I got my epiphany moment. Like, they probably are linked. I always thought about it, but I'm pretty sure that they're linked, because I also have experienced astral projection, I would call it, where I can see myself sleeping, but now I'm just in this other realm. And I'm actually more in tune with the spirits when I'm in that realm. So I definitely think they connect.
Now, and in this film, you brought in mediums and priests and everybody else to actually help out. How did you find them, Ashley and Shannon, and how did you convince them to partake, to have these moments on film?
It was difficult because when we were looking for exorcists and priests and whatnot, there are very few Vatican ordained exorcists in the States, and there was one older guy, Father Carcetti. I forgot their name actually, but they don't conduct this type of exorcism anymore, or they don't travel. Very few do. Luckily, met Christopher Florian, ex-NYPD officer who's based in New York still, who was willing to give it a shot. And so he was very helpful. With the mediums, it was the same situation. It was just a matter of finding the right person who was willing to meet the family and deal with them. But yeah, so it was help. I don't know if it was really helpful. That's a question for Ashley, I think, because as you see in the documentary, it may have stirred some things up as well, having these people come through.
Well,
although the scene with Chris, they definitely subsided when he read the prayers, and that was all good. But I don't want to give the ending away too much.
Well, then tell us, Ashley, do you believe it's actually helpful, and will you try again?
With the medium, things actually got worse. But then when Chris came in, I don't know if I could say it straight up worked, but what he himself taught me was to how to ignore them more, not give them more power over me or my situation. So I think regardless, that part worked. But am I still seeing them every day on a normal basis? Yes. Um, do I see more evil things sometimes? Yes. I think I just know how to deal with it better. I am interested in trying something else, because I know that I need more control. I get into these word battles and arguments with them when I get fed up, and when I mean them, I mean the spirits, and things do tend to get worse because of me doing that. So I think there's still more to learn.
Giving them more of your energy.
Yes.
So most definitely, we can conclude that you're not willing to accept this life. You want more control over this.
More control, yes, definitely.
How are your children adjusting to all this?
Children are children. Normally Javier cannot hide him or Alexis when they are speaking to these entities, because most of the time especially me and Javier, we can see the same entities. He'll come in the room and get me more since the film. Like he'll include me more and say, "Ma, do you see that lady over there, or do you see anybody in that corner?" So because he's including me now, I can say, "Okay, yeah, I do see that person, but we're gonna go do something else." So I'm trying to pull the kids slowly away, but they are still engaging with the entities. It's just unfortunate.
Also, the youngest, Alexis, she's 5 now. She's actually seeing a lot more than she used to.
Yeah,
Maybe it's that age, 5, 6, where it starts to really
like she knows now
begin.
what it is. Yeah.
She's still talking about the same things.
Hmm.
How's Selena? Selena's fine now.
My oldest daughter, which was actually the first one to start, she's 16 now. When she was 2, she started seeing these things. We actually moved from one of our houses in Albany because of it. I had to have paranormal investigators come out, but I think Selena has gotten to where I am, where we know this is a power that we have that we cannot block out, and we just learn how to just go with it for the most part as best we can.
So Ashley, you did have paranormal investigators come in. What did they have theories themselves
Now or in my past?
in the past?
Um, in the past, when they did come in, they would have us leave the house, and they would use recordings. They captured a lot, even more than the film did. So it just let me know that okay, this is something real. It was more of a validation thing for me. That's what it turned into, because they couldn't change it. I think I just got tired of moving from place to place and just had to accept that this is what is. But it definitely validated what I was already knowing.
But also recently, Gig, like, Ashley has cameras set up in the living room, and a lot of activity has been recorded in the last few days, even.
Yeah.
Uh, Crazy things have been seen.
Hmm. Shannon, would you try to pursue more stories out of this, or are you planning to do something else?
I mean, I've finished 2 screenplays that I'd like to get in production soon. Finishing up a docu-series, and I'm shooting the second season for that docu-series. The first season's done. With Ashley's story, I think we have told it. Will there be another installment? We'll see. It's kind of same, right? I would
Yeah.
say. So I think people will get a good chance to meet the family and understand what they're going through, and we've captured a lot of material to support their testimonies. At this point, we're kind of leaving it where it is. It's important that we just get the word out there right now and make sure people see it, and really reiterate that this is a documentary and it is a real family in Brooklyn, New York. Some of the feedback has been a little bit funny, talking about this being a fictional piece or a mockumentary or something like this. And I'm like, no, this is real. This is documentary. This is not scripted. These kids aren't acting. And what we captured was real and quite odd.
Well said. Well, Ashley, I'm going to throw you the last question here because audiences will have a chance to watch this film and to get to see it and also know your family more intimately. What is the one most important take you hope they walk away with after watching It's Coming?
I think the most important take to walk away with is that they get a sense of this is really happening, especially people who experience things, but maybe don't want to talk about it because of fear of what people may think or say they're crazy. Ashley Roland-White believes you're not crazy, and I know you're not crazy because it's happening to me, and I can't possibly be the only one. So even if it just makes someone feel more comfortable speaking about it, I hope it does that.
Well,
True.
well said. Well said. Shannon, Ashley, thank you very much for speaking to us
Thank
about
No
you.
worries.
the documentary. It's
Thank
coming.
you for having us, Gig.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
It's unbelievable. I when I was watching it, just like what Shannon said, I wasn't sure whether it was real or not, but as I continued watching, I was going, gosh, this seems very, very realistic. But
I think you can feel it, and that's the main thing everybody should take away. When you get a feeling about something, you can feel if it's authentic.
Absolutely.
well, you guys done a terrific job, and Ashley, I wish you
Thank
luck.
you.
Thanks.
Really do. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Gig.